Have you ever been in a situation where you're having an argument with your partner and all of a sudden they brought up something from 12 months ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, and you thought, I thought we dealt with this. I thought we were done. I thought we moved forward. I thought we'd heal all this stuff. And all of a sudden you're arguing about this thing that happened 20 years ago and the whole thing turns into a shit show. Well, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why people don't let go of things in relationships. And the one thing you can do to finally let it go and move forward in your relationship. So let's get into it. Yeah, it's a funny thing. It's very common. People will say they want to be healed. People will say they will really want to heal their relationship, want to move past this, want to let this go. And all of a sudden you find that you're going okay for a bit. Next minute, you have an argument and they bring up something that happened 8 years ago. And it's like, well, I thought we moved past that. I thought, hang on, we talked about this. We've been to therapy for this. We've gone through all this kind of stuff. I'm behaving better. And they haven't let it go. And that is very, very common that people will not let go of things that have happened. They will say they want to be healed. People always want to say, I want to let this go. I really do. But too often what happens is people do not let go of it, and there's good reason for it. So there's 3 basic reasons for it, okay? One's pretty average. The 2 are more unconscious than anything, right? So go with the bad one first, right? You want to punish your partner. That's a simple fact. You are somebody there who is just revenge. I want to make my partner feel as bad as I do because they betrayed me, they hurt me, I feel shit, and I want them to suffer like I've suffered. Yeah, okay, right? There's not much you can do about that one. Most people, if you're in that situation where you've got a partner who wants to continually punish you for that, just leave. That's all you can do. If they're so hell-bent on punishing you for something you've done and do not want to move forward, there's nothing you can do. You get up and walk out and go, oh, thank you, see you later, and I'll start a new life. There's nothing you can do with that, right? If they're hell-bent on punishing you consciously for what you've done, there is no remedy in that. Because if they don't want to do it, they don't, right? So that's the ugly one. There's a second one, which is a payoff. So this will be someone's had something happen to them and they've been betrayed, hurt, abandoned, whatever it is that's happened to them through a partner. Something's happened where an emotional issues occur. And the event itself has enabled them to get a payoff for their behavior and what happened. So they will go to get sympathy, empathy, compassion as a form of love and acceptance, which will then release, hormones of dopamine, and then you get mirror neurons, and that will send a flood of, connection hormones through their body, and they'll feel this massive rush. They'll go, somebody gets me, somebody feels me, someone understands me, and in that place become addicted to that emotion, addicted to those hormones, and all of a sudden that person will continue to play that card because they get a massive payoff for it. This will be unconscious. They won't know they're doing this. And that's the thing, is a lot of the stuff for the next 2 is completely unconscious. You do not know you're doing it. And that's why it's hard to try and heal this, right? It's hard to sort of go, I want to let go, but I can't because it is unconscious programming. So, yeah, the second one is about payoffs for what happened. So I get to behave like this because something happened to me, and because something happened to me, people either treat me with a certain way, which then gives me a sense of a love and acceptance, or a sense of connection and a sense of sympathy, which is a mask, which is not really love and acceptance, but they'll take it, right? So in that moment, in that place, because they're getting a payoff for it, they have no real want to get rid of it. They'll say they want to heal, but they really don't want to because they don't want to get rid of the emotional connection or the dopamine or the mirror neurons that come with what that behavior entails, right? So that one in itself is, quite tricky, but understand the fact that, it can be remedied if the person wants to heal it in a way that they want to be able to get rid of the payoff. And it is hard to sort of get rid of because, again, such a massive payoff for it, but it can be done, okay? Which I'll go into in a second. The last one is a bit of a sly one, okay? So this one's more about a person where something's happened to them and the person, if they heal it or they let it go or they integrate it, that they think subconsciously, then that person who's done that thing to them has got away with that behavior. So let me say it again. What the thought is, or the unconscious program in that space for this person who's been hurt, is that by healing this or letting it go or integrating it, they subconsciously believe that that gives that person a free pass for what they did, that they've just moved on and it's okay now. And in some way, by doing that, you're betraying that person that got hurt. So let me say it again. By letting it go, in some way or somehow, you're letting it go and you're becoming happy, you're betraying that version of you that got hurt. And that's very subtle because, and this is one of the most common ones I find, is that people will hold on to the event or what happened or the emotions because in some way, by healing this, by integrating it, and by moving forward with this, is that that person's got away with their behavior. Now, it's not necessarily the case, but that's something that's very sly in the subconscious mind. And it's very common, I find, with people, is that when I say to people, does this make sense? They kind of go, oh my God, yes. Yes, it does make sense. If I let this go, if I forgive myself and I forgive my partner and we move forward and become happy, I'm actually betraying that version. I'm letting this go. I'm letting this person off the hook. I'm letting what they've done to me get away with it. And it's not true that they've got away with it because there's been, obviously a lot of changes in the relationship since then to probably make it better. But let me tell you this. Let me say this to you. If you want to have a healthy, connected, intimate, communicative, fun, loving, peaceful, joyous relationship, you cannot get there holding on to the past. You cannot get there by holding on to anger, hate, betrayal, whatever it is. You cannot get to the place you want to get to if you want to hold on to this stuff. You can't drive a car by looking in the rear vision mirror. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work. If you want to have a relationship that you want to have and you say you want to have, and you continue to hold on to these things, you'll never get there. I guarantee it. You may stay together, but you'll never have full trust. You'll never have a deep, intimate sex life. You'll never have deep, intimate communications. You'll never have any depth to it, right? Because you're holding on to anger, betrayal, guilt, shame, whatever it is that is infecting this relationship. And there's a part of you that will always hold back because you're holding on to the past. And yes, I get it. People have had some very, very bad things happen to them. But if you want to heal yourself, because the truth of the situation is the only person that's being hurt now is you. And you deserve better than this. You deserve to have peace, harmony, happiness, joy, not the past, not what happened to you. You are not what happened to you. You are not what your past is. That is not you. There's something that happened to you, as bad as it was, but stop letting it dictate your life because it's ruining it. And yes, it's hard. But at some stage, if you want to have this relationship or this life that you desire to have, you cannot get there by holding on to this. It will destroy every intimate relationship you're going to have. It will literally kill it off because, and even if you leave this person and you start a new relationship, that's still there, right? So no matter what you do, if you want to have the life you desire, at some stage, you have to integrate this, let it go, or whatever it is you have to need to do. Okay? Because as I said before, people say they want to heal, but do they truly want to heal because they want to hold on to this? So, how do you actually do this? How do you heal these things? Well, the first option, you can't. So option one, don't even bother with that one. If that person's so hell-bent on revenge, just leave, go. Just pack your bags and get out because you're dodging a bullet there. It's a toxic relationship. They have no interest in you. They're about one thing and one thing only, about making you suffer. Get out, right? The other two are really about, okay, your intention. And that's a really come to Jesus moment where you have to say, do I really want to heal this? And look, it's a process because letting it go, as I said, most of it's about I'm letting this person get away with what they've done. And that's probably the most common one I've found is if I heal this, I release this, I let it go, I integrate this, I move forward with this, that somehow that person's got away with it. And that's something you can work with, because in the end, sometimes the worst things happen to you for the best reasons. Like, for example, let's say you lost your job and at the moment you're thinking that's the worst thing ever. It throws you in this complete fight or flight. Oh my God, I've lost my job. Only to find 6 months later, you've gone and picked up the best job you've ever had. And you go, wow, well, I thought that was traumatic, but it led me to somewhere else. So it's all about perspective. It's all about how we perceive the event. It's not taking away the fact that what happened was horrible, but what has it led to? Because, through a lot of pain with people, we do find that we become who we truly need to become through our trials and tribulations, and our betrayals and our abandonment and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's about going in a place where I have that, deep sense of wanting to heal this, and not necessarily having to forgive the other person, but maybe forgiving you. You may have been in a situation where you've ignored some red flags, or you've walked into a situation you knew was bad for you and you still did it anyway. And I find that's probably more common than anything, is that it's not the forgiveness of the other person that's needed, it's the forgiveness of yourself, that I knew better, or I was helpless in the situation, I couldn't do anything about it. And it comes back to, in the end, is that how you sort of just, do let this go. Most of it's about you to you, is that how do I work past my own guilt or my own shame? Or how do I work past, what happened to me when I was a 5-year-old kid where I had no control or no power? And in that space, that's where you sort of, you can employ someone like me, is to, bridge that gap in that space. But if you want to try and do this yourself, it comes to a point where it's about perspective. What is this leading to? And it's not about, you got to feel the emotions. It's not about bypassing it, because, bypassing is just a crock of shit. You have to actually go there. You have to go and feel the hurt, feel the discomfort, feel the shame, feel the guilt, all that kind of stuff. Feel those real emotions and be human about it. But at one point you sort of go, I've got a choice here. I can take this and use this to create the life that I do desire, and I can make much better choices going forward. And this situation, based on perspective and the way you perceive things, has led me to become a better person. This has led me to be able to have a different set of life. So you might find let's say, for example, husband and wife, a husband cheats on the wife, right? They stay together, but the husband does deep inner work, and he heals his inner child wounds, which led him to do the cheating in the first place, and he becomes a absolute rock star of a dad, a rock star of a partner. He learns about empathy, he learns about intuition, he learns about tantra, he learns about, he has a very strong spiritual aspect, right? He learns about communication, equanimity, emotional awareness, all that kind of really important stuff in the relationship. He learns how to communicate effectively with, your limbic system. Now, that wouldn't have happened if you hadn't had the affair. But the result of that has been a man who's actually been healed from his past trauma to give you what you desire now. So again, it's about understanding, okay, where is this now? Where is it leading to? How can we use what's happened to be able to move forward in the relationship we want to have? And how do we show up for each other? And that's the part of it, is that you have to sort of go to the point where, if I want to have this relationship going forward, I have to show up as that version of myself. I can't show up with guilt. I can't show up with shame. I can't show up with punishment. I can't show up with holding on to the past, because if you do that, you are, the relationship is destined to be either a failure, go nowhere, or just be, a complete shit show. Okay, so you'll never get to where you want to get to. So in reality, people hold on to stuff for many, many different reasons. One of them is, pure revenge. That's just the way it goes sometimes. The other two are more, subconscious. They're more unaware, and people don't realize they're actually doing it. So And those ones can be fixed and be healed, but you have to have that real want to do it. If you have the real want to be able to let go and integrate this stuff and move forward, then you can have whatever relationship you want. The sky's the limit for you. There is no limit. You can have whatever depth of level of relationship you want. You can have the most amazing relationship of pure freedom and peace by letting go of what's happened in the past. And remember, like, the brain loves to be familiar about stuff. So we'll hold on to the familiar hurt and shame because it would rather stay in a shit situation than go into a place where it's unknown, right? So you're fighting against that part as well too. But with some guidance, you can create an amazing relationship, and all of a sudden you go, well, I'm free. It's like, yeah, because you're not holding on to the negative emotions. So if that's where you're at right now and that's in your life, there's a link down below. Reach out, book a call. We can go on a chat and go through, how we can actually help you out, because we all deserve to have a relationship that is everything we've dreamed of. And most people are, like I said in my previous videos, they're trying to communicate through logic. It doesn't work. And if you're able to communicate with someone's limbic system and understand how people actually work and how they communicate to our emotions and our feelings and our hormones, it completely changes the game. It makes your relationship so much easier because you communicate with the part of the brain that dictates action and then integrates with logic after that. So if that's where you're at, click on the link below. But other than that, if you're struggling with it, letting go, it's really important. It's something that will completely transform your relationship. If you want to hold on to it, you know where you're going to end up. But other than that, it is literally, you let it go. There is no limit. You can go wherever you want. And that's the whole point. Have a life that's worth living. Catch you later.